You're very funny. You're funnier, bro. All right.
Are we good? We're golden. Crispy.
So what are we doing here today? What is this about?
Well,
What is the purpose?
the purpose of
Uh,
us putting this entire thing together?
this whole production.
Well, I mean, you and I are very passionate about certain things,
Okay.
We like, you put in simplistic terms, we like talking, but it's with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? If it's not to help somebody, it's just to start a conversation. And a lot of conversations are never had because a lot of people are too not scared to have it, but the repercussions of having that conversation is what stops a lot of people from
Right.
actually speaking on the topic.
Right.
By the way, I am Jeph, the son. Jeph for short because it's difficult for a lot of people to actually say my name.
Yeah. Explain that, because usually when I tell people, like, they always ask me, okay, so what's up with your whole name? Where does that come from? And then I usually tell them, well, my brother's Jeph, his son,
Mm-hmm.
and I usually use the example like Thor.
Odin's son.
Odin's son.
Exactly.
It's just Odin with son.
Son.
So, you can kind of get the idea with the spelling.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, like, no, I completely understand what you're saying, where it's like, there's a lot of things people want to talk about,
Of course.
but what space can you really talk about it without judgment?
There's not really.
There really isn't.
There's not really a
any
space.
space,
That's the biggest
you know.
issue. So you and I have been on I would say a year and a half journey, because the concept, the idea of starting a podcast was in our mind, but it's not something that we thought we would be in this actual space doing right now.
For sure.
So I mean, of course, we started from nothing. It was just an idea, and of course, we put everything together, and then look where we're at now.
Bro, well, yeah, we've made it. What,
Yeah.
this is what, 2 years?
Yeah, almost 2 years in the
2 years.
making. Like,
Pandemic really gave you a chance to kind of sit back and kind of reassess, the time that you're using and how wisely you're using it.
yeah,
And what people want to do, what you want out of life, you know. But I felt like this was a good opportunity to kind of
oh, it was.
do what I'm good at, which I've gotten in trouble for since, bro, from preschool to graduation, man.
Yeah,
It was just like, Jeph, you talk too much. Jeph, you talk.
exactly. But it wasn't pointless. It wasn't.
Yeah, it
pointless
wasn't
conversation.
pointless
Yeah.
banter. It was just
No.
like, I want to know more than everyone wants to know.
Exactly. If you learn
You know,
something new,
like, I'm not trying to be a smartass. Like, I really just, like, please break down, the workings of my reality, my universe.
Exactly.
Like, I'm still growing up. There's millions of questions I want to ask. And maybe those questions exist outside of the
Yeah.
curriculum you're teaching, but they're valid questions.
no, yeah, I agree.
So, like, my entire life, you're telling me, oh, you talk too much, stop asking questions,
Mhm.
da-da-da.
but if we didn't ask questions, where would we be today?
Where would we be
today,
today,
as a
Like,
society? Yeah.
how would you even be teaching me these
What would you-
these concepts?
How would we even be doing this now if we didn't ask those
That's
questions?
a lot. That's a lot to unpack,
Oh yeah, exactly.
because there's like so many avenues you could break down
Of course.
and kind of go down that rabbit hole. But let's get back on track.
Okay. Yes. 'Cause
So-
we're bantering right now.
We made this tabletop topics.
Yep. Triple
Wow.
T.
We're 5 minutes and we never introduced. this
Introduce.
guy.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
So this is tabletop topics.
Yes.
And essentially it's just an invitation to anyone who really wants to
Have a conversation.
Have a conversation.
Yeah.
Tell us your story.
Exactly.
What do you want to talk about?
Exactly.
What's going on in the world?
Mhm.
What's going on with you? Anything that interests you, we will talk about anything.
Exactly. This
You
is
know?
kind of like a safe space, I would say,
Yeah, for sure.
to just have that conversation.
Does it get any safer than, bro?
Yeah,
Wall full of
comics and nerds.
posters.
Exactly.
You know, insane like
It's
collection of
inviting.
Blu-ray.
It's inviting. You see all the nerd stuff and the comfortability of it, and it's inviting. It's not. It doesn't look like a serial killer's home.
Shoot.
If you
Hey,
would say that.
Let's ask Ted Bundy.
Exactly.
Did he look like a serial killer?
No,
Oh,
he
man.
didn't. He was
Oh,
too
bro.
handsome for that.
That's true. That's true. That was handsome. That's
Yeah,
true. All right,
yeah.
I'm off that. But like, that's the point. You know, like, come on here. You know, tell us your worldviews. We're not saying, you know, like, preach some hateful shit.
Exactly.
Like, we're not here for hateful shit. We just want to understand the way you view the world,
Yeah.
the way you process the world, and
Your perspective.
Your perspective, because everyone has their own reality,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and we just find a common ground to coexist as a society.
Exactly. And that's the thing.
And you know, and that's where we want to go with that. You know, even if you want to talk about movies, you know,
I can definitely have that conversation. I'll
you
tell
want
you
to talk
that right
about
now.
games, you want to talk about social media.
Yep.
You want to talk about
Sports. You want to talk about
you
murder
know,
mysteries. You want
murder
to talk
mysteries,
Yeah.
fan fiction.
fan fiction, anything. I mean, we'll have that conversation, and even if we're not well versed in it, teach us.
Right, yeah, teach us.
That's the
you
thing.
know?
We're willing to
Like,
hear.
we're willing to listen. I'm not here to say I know everything.
Exactly.
I'm just very observant, and I tune into a lot of the information being thrown at me, and
Yeah.
you know, I just kind of make what I will of, you know, what I'm seeing and what I'm absorbing. But I'm not here to be the know-all be-all. I'm not here to give advice.
Yeah.
I'm not here to give, you know,
Constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism. This is a judge-free zone.
Exactly.
We're not here to judge. You know, we're just here to talk about our lives, talk about ideas, challenge them,
Mm-hmm.
look at different perspectives,
Question them.
question them, you know, look at bigger pictures, get a little philosophical.
Exactly.
sometimes.
I mean, and that's why
You know?
we created this podcast, so we can have that,
Like, really dive into the human experience.
which
You know?
I mean, I'm not saying people out there don't do it. It's just I haven't seen much of it,
Right,
or it's a
yeah.
different type of platform.
Yeah, where we're coming from, you don't really see a lot of outspoken, you know, individuals, or, you know, areas where you can just believe what you want,
Exactly.
you know,
I completely agree.
and it could be completely okay, you know, just
Yeah, and that's the thing. It can be completely okay. There's nothing wrong
right.
with your worldviews. It's
Right.
just sometimes you got to understand people are going to challenge your worldviews, and you got to be
Yeah.
ready for it. Instead of getting
Yeah.
upset and reacting,
Right.
actually see that different perspective of what that person is talking about, and then challenge it.
For sure.
See if you can do it better.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So
But let's. How am I gonna get this screencast on? Oh, here we go. Because I do know I can do.
you're trying to make it bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
So check me out, right? Check me out. Check me out.
Yeah, we can definitely have a little discussion of how our names came to be and the joke behind it. Because I remember I was when I was going to Louisiana on that church trip back in
Mhm.
2010 or 2011. Literally, we were on the bus, and PA, Pastor Alex, said, "Did you know that Jeff's entire family's name is Jeph?" And then everyone on the bus is like, "That's a lie." And I literally had to stand up in front of the bus and explain the story. And they're like, no, I'm not joking. They're like, well, what's your sister's name? How many brothers and sisters do you have? 2 sisters, 1 brother. Okay, this was before we knew about DJ too, by the way. So they're like, oh, what's your older sister's name? Jeffy. What's your younger sister's name? Jeff Lane. What's your brother's name? Jeff Nathan. And you? Jeff Tisson. You're lying. I'm like, no, I'm being serious. That's really our name. I said, they're like, damn, your mom must have really. Well, they didn't say damn because they're religious. They're like, dang, your mom, your mom must really love your dad. I said, yeah, I guess that's what it is.
That was a time.
That was a
Explain that.
time.
Explain that. Cause like growing up,
Uh
like
huh.
for me, witnessing you grow up, for me it was like, man, this guy. You were always honest. You were always nice. You were always just like, you know, humble. But like, what made you decide, like, man, I'm gonna go on this Christian spiritual journey?
I think I was trying to figure out who I was. The only reason why I say that is because as a kid, of course, you know, I've been made fun of my entire life. So I always tell myself you can either become the bully or be better than the bully.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at that point, you know, we all, as Caribbean people, we do the church thing as kids. We go to the church, but
Scared the shit out.
yeah, yeah, you're gonna burn in hell. They even gave you that little book that shows the
Bruh.
guy that did horrible stuff in
Yeah,
his
those little
life.
comic books. I feel like
Yeah,
those were you. Sometimes you just kind of found them.
they yes, yes.
Sometimes you
It's-
just find them.
sometimes
in
they
like,
put them on the church seats.
yeah, they put them on the church
They put 'em on
seats.
the
I
church
remember
seats.
one time I found one in like a shopping mall, not even a grocery store.
Grocery store, yeah.
Like we were just kind of, I was kind of running through the aisles and touching everything like a
Mhm.
kid would, but and then I just found one of these little comic strips and I
Yeah.
just took it, and then I brought it home and like I opened it up and it was the most terrifying thing.
Yeah, because they're showing you the guy that was a businessman and he did this and he
Yeah.
cheated, he adultered, he did all that stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then at the end, the Reaper was looking at him and saying, "Oh, you've done this." You're
And then it's showing you
damnation."
this lake of
Fire,
fire of
and then you
humans
just-
like boiling.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie,
That's wild.
It scared me straight. But no, like I said, it was we went to church, and of course, like I said, I was trying to figure out who I was as a person because I really did. I had no identity.
Mhm.
I till now,
Right.
I can honestly say I am 31 years old. Till now, I can honestly say I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Because even 5 years ago, I didn't even know who I was because I was sitting there. I put myself on the back burner to help somebody else, and you already know what happened with that story. But it was just trying to understand who I was as a person and what I can do for the world. Because I always say every human being exists for a reason. We're not just here by accident. That's my philosophy.
For sure.
Your philosophy might be different from mine's.
Mhm.
Julie's, Jeph, all of them. It might be different, but I believe that every human being was created for a specific reason, and every human being has a gift that needs to be used to help the world if they choose to.
No matter how
yeah,
big or
no,
small.
no
Right.
matter how big or small.
Because like collectively,
Exactly, and
Okay.
and like I said, because some people have gifts and they choose not to use them, they choose to squander them or they choose to abuse them. Me, it was being nice. It was when I would say, oh, I want to help somebody. I want to help as many people as I can. What would everyone always tell me? That's not a job.
yeah,
Every single
facts.
time. That's not a career.
that's facts.
You can't do any. Oh, you're talking about firefighter. You're talking about doctor. That's like when mommy used to ask me as a child, what do you want to become? And she kind of influenced the whole doctor, firefighter, all that stuff. Because she's like, oh,
yeah, like the dreaming.
yeah,
like dream
you
big.
already know. Because when she
Yeah.
said, she's like, oh yeah, when you were a kid, all you would talk about is becoming a firefighter. Even to the point where they brought,
I remember that.
even to the point, even to the point where they brought the firefighters to the school, and then that just motivated me even more. This was second grade. I remember it
Right.
exactly because Mrs. Stefano brought us towards the racetrack where the buses would pick us up, and then we sat there, and then they had this 3D models of don't touch the electricity, and they show you what would happen, and they had this little 3D robotic puppet that would talk to you, and that was crazy.
Okay.
That freaked me out as a kid, but it was cool at the same time. But yeah, so my entire life, it's just I want to help people, but how do I do that? Because everybody keeps telling me that helping people is not a career. They're saying doctors help people by helping them heal, firefighters help people by saving them from burning buildings, but how do you help somebody?
Right. That's
So
true.
I kind of throughout my youth, I kind of just taught myself advice. Movies were like like I said, people made fun of me, so movies were like an escape for me. It put me in the shoes of somebody that wasn't me because I had no identity. So that's why I fell in love with movies the way I did. When I imagined myself as another character helping that person, because how they were doing it, whether it was scary or action, adventure, or hero or whatever, they were helping somebody. And that's not a job, is what they said. So when I saw that, I'm like, well, obviously it is a job because they're doing it. Like when I watched Split with Bruce Willis in it, and Samuel L. Jackson, um, he was the villain, and of course Bruce Willis was the hero. He just ran every single day, but he was saving people
Right.
because he had super strength and all that stuff like that. So in my mind, it was just trying to figure out who I am, how can my identity help somebody in this world. So even if people kept making fun of me, even throughout middle school, where I remember I was in the choir, I had people making fun of me all the time. 7th grade, 6th grade, people making fun of my weight, how I was, and they did it all the time. And all I kept doing was being nice to them. And by second semester, they were nice back because they realized, wow, I'm making fun of this kid.
Right.
And he's not shitting on me. He's not saying anything bad about me or anything like that. So they just gravitated towards me.
It makes them have that self reflection.
It's like whatever's going on. Because I always say this: whatever.
Clearly, the problem isn't him.
Isn't
The problem
me.
is me.
Right. And whatever is
right,
going on at
right.
home. So it's like if I just keep being nice to this person, this female, this guy, this anybody, then eventually that outcome will change. So it literally got to the point where I thought of something. I'm like, well, if I make fun of myself first, then it makes them look stupid. But at the same time, they realize that they can take a joke, and that I can take a joke, and it doesn't hurt me the way they think that it would hurt me.
But now, do you think in doing that, you essentially allowed for more of that?
That's the thing. The complete opposite happened. They stopped making fun of me. Like when I would joke around about my chicken cutlets, which I have boobs.
Right,
yeah. So I was literally talking about that. Essentially, it's a joke, but it's like if you make fun of yourself, how can they make fun of you before you make fun of yourself? Because to them, it makes them look like an idiot. On top of that, everybody else is laughing. So if you're making fun of me, it just looks like you're being a bully. So it's like a mind fuckery in a way if you think about it like that. So it's like a reverse psychology without the reverse psychology. Make fun of yourself before somebody else does it, and it didn't get worse. It just stopped.
I understand that, but like, do you not think that could have some effect on you personally? Like if you're already deprecating yourself
at that point in my life, yes. Okay. I don't make fun of myself anymore, but at that I was in middle school, and then on top of that, and on top of that, when I got to high school, it was literally the same thing.
Everyone was tweaking.
When I say I'd be called a fat boy, and or you passed out freshman year when you play football, that was a never let go, and that was
really? They got on you for that?
They got on me for that.
Oh, that's true.
They got on me for it, and they held that till, of course, I left.
Passed out? That's
because the thing was, the first day of football practice, I was literally supposed to...
You guys were doing the 100-yard
Exactly,
runs,
but this is the issue. I left my shorts at home, so I said, Mommy, can you bring me the shorts? And then I left the shorts, and then I grabbed the shorts, and then I was walking out to the football field. Coach yelled out, what are you doing? Run to the locker room, change right now, get out on the field. So what I do, I ran into the locker room, me being overweight as hell, don't know how to catch my breath or anything, ran into the locker room, came right back out. He's like, all right, now get on there and start doing suicide. So I'm tired as hell, and we're already doing running back and forth. So I just collapsed on the field because I couldn't breathe.
Right, I feel it.
Yeah, so I
no, because the same. It was when first time I tried out for lacrosse.
Yeah.
And because lacrosse starts in the winter, so we were running. Our first big practice was like in 35-degree weather, air dry as hell.
So it's burning
burning my throat, and I'm like 250, 260, and we're just running hundreds, and we don't finish until the last person finishes. And I was always the last person. So by the end of that, we got cut for water break, and while we're drinking water,
You passed out.
like the last thing I remember was like seeing the sky.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
the last thing I remember was seeing the sky, and then I wake up, my helmet's off, and they're like flooding water on my face.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Wow. That
like
bad.
they were like we're ready to call the ambulance. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, because in my mind it was just like I'm gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. Like when I'm focused on something,
Mm-hmm.
I will literally die.
You will push yourself until
Yeah.
you get. Yeah, you're not just gonna give
Like
up.
it's so weird. It's like when I'm locked onto something, I will literally do it till I die. Like I could
Gotcha.
be sweating, my heart's pounding out my chest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, it's
know,
like it's like today at the gym when I was doing the push-ups, transitioning into the lateral pull downs, and then the back. My heart was pounding, but I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I'm sitting there shaking like that, but I'm like, and I get on the ground and I start doing it. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, but so they made fun of you about.
Yeah. So like I said, and this was high school. It's like I had no identity. I'm trying to figure out who I am as a person, and the only thing I know how to be is nice. And a lot of people always say this, that being nice comes with people taking advantage and doing
right.
this and that. And it's like, for me, I've always been aware of everything that's going on around me, because I don't know if you want to call it paranoid or if
It's like a self-defense, I guess.
it
Like
is.
Kinda,
It kind of developed because
right.
you have to be quick and sharp about what somebody's trying to say about you or say to you. So that's kind of what I developed. So when somebody says something, I'm gonna call you out on it. I'm not just gonna let you slide by and pretend that happened like nothing ever existed. So and that's what a lot of people told me, and that's how I made a lot of friends. It's they saw it's like every semester you have a new class with a new set of people that do not know you unless they're from the previous.
Right.
They get to know you the first semester, the first 2 semesters.
Right.
After that, boom, it clicks. They're friends. You're friends. You talk. You this,
Because
you that.
right, because by already removing that target from you, it made it easier for you to talk to people.
Exactly. And then you know me. I'm a people person. I like to talk to people. I
Right.
like to understand where they're coming. That's I think I just want to understand the human experience. Like, why do we do what we do, and what is the reason why we do it?
That's right.
If you understand what I'm saying.
That's right.
So for me, I like to dissect people, not like an experiment, not to make it seem like their experience, but I want to understand
Your lived experience.
your lived experience.
Right.
Why do you act the way you act? Who did this to you? How can I better understand you as a person so I can make you a better person? Which is why I always say, be the best version of yourself if you can be. I'm not gonna say you have to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, you don't have
I said,
to be.
yeah, it's always a choice. I always say, be the best version of yourself, and I think that's how. And I think I've created an aura of comfortability because I've literally, like I told you when I was at the store that I work for, when you worked with me, literally I had a random customer come up to me and say, I don't know you, but I feel comfortable, like I can tell you anything. And I'm like, and then yeah, it's weird because and I've never heard that before, but it's like, I guess I radiate safety, comfortability,
right.
care. They just look at me and they're like, okay, I feel like I can trust you. I don't know you, but I can trust you with my life. Like if I'm in a
How does that make you feel? Like how do you
it's
feel about that?
I mean, I'm still getting used to it. It's not uncomfortable.
Do you feel like you don't want to get like a sense of responsibility now that, like, because it started off as like a defense, and then it became a part of your personality.
Yes.
But now do you feel like it's becoming a responsibility? And then if it is becoming a responsibility, is that something that you want to really manage, or is that something like you can just passively, like, hey, it's when you're communicating with people,
You see,
or are you seeking to help people?
and that's the thing. I am seeking.
So you're seeking the help.
Seeking to, and that I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to start this with you. It's because literally, like I said, why do you think I'm into superheroes?
Yeah, that's right.
When you start it's like the first day you show up, that's it. You can't shut it off. If you save that one person, you have to save.
You now have that responsibility to,
and that's basically what happened with me when I helped that one person. That responsibility was now on me. Now everyone comes to me for advice. Everyone comes to me when they need somebody to talk to because they know I'm willing to listen. Everybody. So it's like, even if I wanted to shut it off, I can't.
So it doesn't feel like a burden.
It's not a burden. Okay. For me, it's not a burden. I naturally love to help people. That's why I always tell you sometimes, if you're holding something in here for a long time, don't do that. I always tell people, I'd rather you tell me what's going on than keep it in here, because keeping it in here is not going to help you. So for me, it's not a burden. I absorb a lot of people's energies every single day, and I can handle it. You know why? Because I started at 15 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
I started at 15. I am now 31 years old, and that's why when some people say, "Oh yeah, I listen, but I don't know how to give advice or do stuff like that," I say, I listen, but I know how to give advice, or give the best to my ability, the advice that I can give you. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to make the decision that you need to make in order for yourself to move forward. I can't give you the answers to the question that you're asking for. Exactly. I don't have the answers, and that's the thing. I all I can do is be an ear to listen to and give you the advice. At the end of the day, you
make the final call. You're the one who signs.
And that's why sometimes when I do come to you for advice, this is what you always say to me: you already know the answer to your question, Jeph. If me telling you is not gonna change your decision, you already know the answer to this. And then I
because one thing I've learned is when you give people advice, 9 times out of 10 they're not gonna take it.
Exactly.
They're not gonna take it
unless it happens the way you say it happens. Right, yeah. They're not gonna take it. And I've seen that several times. Right. Yeah. I've seen that several times. So
you just talk to them, like just let them know you're there to listen.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And you give them advice, and you try to pull your memory bank of similar situations, and maybe the way you handled that might give them some.
And that's the thing. I always get a lot of, man, how do you just know the right words to say? You know how to talk to people. You're in the wrong profession. It's like, I mean, it's not necessarily being in the wrong profession. It's just I've been doing this for so long. Right. That I'm understand now. I'm starting to get.
And on top of that, you're also in a customer service
exactly. And the best thing is when they do transfer me to different stores, I literally meet a whole bunch of new people that need help. You see what I'm saying? Right. I interact with a lot of people, and then that's the thing. People gravitate towards me. It's not even that I go to them and all that stuff like that. Like. Every time,
and this is all good advice. You ain't telling no one.
No, I ain't saying
go postal, boy.
Go postal. Do something crazy. Bruh. I'm not saying all that. No. Yeah. And if they do have thoughts like that, then I'll try to talk them down and try to make them at least try to get some help. Or if it gets to that concerning part, then I'll take the next step and
take the day off.
Yeah, Call me when you're done. When you're done.
Stop playing.
Basically, but no, it's just like that. After I've done it for a while, it's not a burden for me. It's something that I want to do because I've always told myself, as a child, I've told myself I want to help people. And now we've finally created a platform where we can have that discussion, that conversation, that help. And it's like I said, it doesn't have to just be about topics. It could be about your personal life, and then we can give you advice on how you might be able to.
Or if you have advice for us.
For us, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you have advice for us, please, give us a different perspective.
Of course.
Like, if you're experiencing some type of success, like, explain your thought process and how you handle, different things, that happen in your life.
Exactly.
How you process certain emotions. Like, relationships, or how you problem solve at work,
Mm-hmm.
or advice you can give people who are having trouble getting over a certain hump.
Exactly, because every human beings have obstacles that they have to get
For sure.
over, and it's like sometimes you just need that one friend or that one person to say something to you. Like I always came up with something that's very crazy, and people say, "Wow, that's actually humble of you to do so." So I do this. I say, if I pass a person that looks angry or upset, I always say hi to them, regardless. And then I'll try to start off a conversation or just keep it brief and then keep it moving. You know
Hmm.
why? Because you never know if that person's going to go home and kill themselves that day
Yeah.
or take other lives.
Yeah.
So I try my best to say hi to as many people as I can in a single day because
You don't
you
know.
don't know
You
what
don't
they're
know.
going through. Just because they're angry at you doesn't mean you should
Right.
react and say, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, don't be such an asshole, don't be a dick," blah
Right.
blah blah, this
Yeah.
and that.
Yeah.
So that's just I just look at life as a very precious thing, and I think um, everyone deserves a chance,
Everyone deserves kindness.
kindness,
That's
and
what
we
everyone
don't have
deserves.
enough in this world.
Everyone
So
deserves
even if
kindness.
it's just me dishing it out, I will do as much as I can
Hmm.
before I die.
Hmm.
If I'm allowed to live long enough to help as many people as I can, I will.
It's easy to be an asshole.
Exactly.
It's
And
easy to
that's why I
be.
say that's why I use the perfect example. You can either become a murderer like your parents or become the cop that stops the murderer. So you can either become the bully or be the person that stops the bullying. And I just chose the opposite of that. But like I said, at the end of the day, it is always a choice. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is. People like to use excuses and say, "Well, this happened to me, so this is why I turned out that way." Of course, and I'm not downing
Yeah.
the
What
traumatic
happened? Yeah.
experience.
What happened to you
But at the end
is
of the day,
yeah.
we're given free will for a reason because it's your choice
Choice.
to do better,
Right.
not to be
To
that
move
person.
forward.
To
Yeah.
move,
To
yeah,
do better. To you
exactly,
know. R- like heal yourself. The only
exactly,
way you can heal is if you heal yourself.
exactly,
There's no one, no therapist. The therapist will just guide you
and
and
that's
talk
it.
to you and pull information out of you and use that to, give you a scientific explanation of why
As to
you
why.
feel that way. But at the end of the day, the person who heals, who has that closure, who can, you know, like find peace is yourself.
Is yourself exactly,
You
and
know
I
what I'm saying?
completely agree with
And
that.
the way you not process that, but react to it and
Hmm.
move forward and affect other people's lives
Hmm.
based on that situation. Will,
No, yeah, and I
will
can, and
yeah.
I completely agree, and that's why the one thing I always ask a person is what what can help you heal, because some people go through traumatic events that's difficult for them to um, move on and all that stuff like that. Whether you have to move to a new area,
Hmm.
not move on, but um, try to cope with that pain without it overtaking you to the point where you just want to off yourself or anything like that.
Or
So,
hurt
or
others.
hurt others, exactly. So, what I always say is, what can help you heal yourself? Some people, they write books. Others, they'll play music. The sound of the music calms them, or the playing for others helps. Like if I have a conversation with a person that looks like they're in pain, my heart is happy because I'm like, man, it might not be the best advice like a therapist would give you, but at least they're taking into consideration that I at least took my time of day to have a conversation with them. So that makes my heart happy. Others is creating stories so people can read, putting your experiences in them, like
Mm-hmm.
somebody we
Right.
know, and just to teach whoever might go through that in the future to avoid it.
Right. Right. Build your life around the peace you want for yourself.
Exactly.
So like
Exactly.
find things, interact with people, do things that bring you peace.
Hmm.
Normally, if someone toxic is around you or something you're doing is
Remove
toxic,
yourself from the situation.
remove yourself from the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not always easy.
No, it's no, and I'm not saying it is.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that. Sometimes you're gonna need that push or that helping hand.
And not even just sometimes you will need help. Sometimes it might be beyond your power.
Yeah.
You understand?
That
what
I
I'm
understand.
saying? And in those situations, like, you know, you need to not need to, but you need to find a way to either get authorities involved or make sure you are safe.
Exactly before anything,
Yeah.
anything drastic happens.
Yeah, drastic.
But like I said, when it's just going through back to middle school and just talking about where my character came from, it's just witnessing a lot. Like you're in a world where there's a lot of evil as there is as much as good, but we only witness the evil. There is a lot of good that goes on, but what does the news prey upon? The bad.
The bad, right.
What do cops talk about? The bad. What do people always see? The bad. But there is a lot of good in this world, and nobody pays attention to that because they're all mostly focusing on the negativity of the world. But there's a lot of good in the world that a lot of people don't see, and it's like if even a twinkle if even a small light in a room full of darkness can help, it's like trying to fill the gaps, trying to put more light into this world, because not a lot of people are trying to do that. Like you said, not a lot of people are genuine, honest, kind, willing to give to others, willing to have a helping hand, because everybody, let's be honest, is out for themselves. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm like
because
that.
there's this feeling of existential dread that's further like amplified by the internet, social media, news.
So it's like perfect example is like if somebody gets into a car accident, like right away, what do some drivers do? Even though no one has stopped yet,
they already pull over.
Some of them just drive.
They drive around
because they don't want to. Because the first thing that goes to their mind is, well, I'm gonna have to go to court. I'm a witness. This is gonna waste my time. I don't want to deal with it. I'm gonna be late to work. All that stuff like that. But you see what I'm saying? It takes a good person to actually pull over and see if a human being is okay. Like, we don't even care about each other anymore. And I get that. Like you said, the news has played a huge part in that. People used to hitchhike. They don't do that anymore because the news put the fear. Oh, hitchhikers get murdered. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it's against the law now. I get that, but it's just things like that, little things that puts the fear in people and more. And so we live in a world where it's full of fear.
Yeah,
exactly. Which
you're
is what,
afraid to be nice. You're afraid to help people
because you think because a lot of people think you're gonna be taken advantage of. And it's like, but I always say this: if you're aware of what's going on, then you won't let people take advantage of you, which that's what I am. I am aware. I can be nice, but that doesn't mean I'm an idiot. I'm not gonna let you take advantage of me because I'm nice. That's just not how it works.
Those two don't
exactly. And I'm not even gonna lie. It literally got to that point where I was so nice that I would say yes to everything without. But then it got to the point where it's like, okay, now I see what's going on if I'm too nice. So I have to dial it down and actually make sure that nobody's taking advantage of me when it comes to certain situations.
You just are respect. You just give people respect.
Exactly. To get respect, you must give it. I give you
the respect as a human being, your entirety.
Exactly.
As a human being.
Like you were giving that example. When you open the door for the guy, he's like, why are you opening the door for me?
He was so thrown off by it because it's just like, in my mind, you're another human. I don't care what race or what
color, gender, whatever you are.
But in my mind, I just saw another human being, and I just wanted to open the door for the person. And the man was so thrown off by that. Like, he's like, "Nah, I'm good, bro. You can go in." I was like, "All right, cool." You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro.
But
that's just
so crazy.
But that's just something that
I know. It's conditioned.
It's conditioned.
It's conditioned.
You're just conditioned,
and you can't change that. Yeah, that's just crazy to me. That
just be thrown off by just civility or just kindness or just just whatever. Like, when I do something, I'm not doing it for any
validation
validation.
or
You know what I'm
to
saying?
feel good about yourself. It's because you
No.
just want to genuinely help
Yeah.
somebody.
I want to give my time to people, if even if it's holding the door for them
Exactly.
for 2 seconds or something like that, or
Exactly.
like, teaching you something like that you'd have to pay $100 to learn.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
true. Like when we were giving the free courses on um, the Web3 wallet, where you didn't have to put your information in, so you can help somebody get to where they
oh,
want
set up a
to. Yeah,
freighter
a
wallet.
freighter wallet, exactly.
You know what I'm
So
saying? So it's just like, hey, I learned from a reputable source. I understand this information.
hmm
Let me just give you some
but I think
some tips.
yeah, but I think that's where my humbleness and my kindness come from. And I'm not saying that people do take advantage of me, which, like I said, I am aware of certain situations and how they work, and I will give you the best advice that I can to my ability. And I am not a counselor, and I'm not telling you to take that advice.
Yep.
I'm just giving
Not
you.
an advisor, not a
Yeah,
counselor,
not
not a
advisor. Yep,
therapist.
not a therapist. I'm not a licensed
I'm
therapist.
just telling
I'm none of
you
that.
my thought process, how I think about the world,
Exactly.
and how I navigate my
Exactly.
reality.
But but if to go back to your question on how did I become the way I was, that's literally for me. That was my journey. It was I didn't know who I was as a person, and I was trying to figure out. All I knew is I wanted to help people in the world, and I didn't know how to do that. Now we've created a platform to be able to do that, to have that conversation, to have that safe space, so we can discuss ideas and different aspects of the human experience. So what I've tried to do, and that's why I love the fact of with the company that I work at, when they do move me around, I get so many phone numbers because I know one day that I can call back on those numbers, especially because they know me,
Mm-hmm.
and say, all right, I, this was an idea,
Right.
now it's a reality.
That's a reality.
So are you ready to tell your story?
Right.
And then
That's
that's literally how I am. And I was talking, and I even told Brian, I'm like, Brian, RSS feed is done. We're doing a test run
Mm-hmm.
pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you and your husband are willing to come and sit down and give us your living experience of growing up as a gay man, and then go from there, we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
So tell us your story. And he's like, yeah, I'm down to do it anytime. He's like, Jeph, I love you like a brother. He gave me a hug yesterday. He's like, I love you like a brother. And I'm ready to come on whenever you need me to.
For sure.
And that's the thing. And
For
so
sure.
I believe that's where my humbleness comes from. A lot of people at the beginning always think it's fake.
It's because, like, everyone is, like, dealing with something. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once you understand that everyone is dealing with something, there's a level you can, like, start off with.
Yes.
Like, you have shit that you're dealing with.
Oh yeah.
We have shit that we're dealing with.
Oh,
You
the
know
crazy
what I'm
thing is, everyone's like, didn't know you were going through that when they do ask.
Right.
And I say this, they're like, you come here every day with a smile, and you put a smile on our faces, and we didn't even know you were going through what you were going through. I said, because that's who I am as a person.
Right. I can choose to be happy.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I can
choose to be happy, and that's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing to move forward with
I'm choosing
what
to
I
move
wanted,
forward.
what we wanted to do. I'm choosing to be
Yeah.
happy with where I'm at. I'm choosing to move forward with whatever I want to do with, and if I can help as many as I can along the way, I will do that.
Mm-hmm.
I will do that, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm very proud of where I am at right now. So, and then we're gonna continue to keep pushing forward until we get where we need to get.
Big fan.
Because for me, this is not a job. This is a lifestyle.
Oh, this is fun.
This
What
is
the hell?
crispy.
Your boy crispy.
But this is, like I said, this was the beginning of and that's how my character was created, from all the bullcrap that not only went on at the home when we were in the village of what happened with our sisters and you and my mom and our mom and but just dealing with all the bullying at school, because yes, all that was happening, but I couldn't come home and put that on all you guys.
Right.
So I kept my mouth shut, and then I tried to put a smile on all you guys' faces, because as you know, I had to be the dad.
Mm-hmm.
So A lot of circumstances led up to who I am as a person today, but I'm glad that they happened because I wouldn't be the man that I am here now if it didn't happen.
That's right.
So, but yeah,
That's
that's my story. If this is the first time you're actually hearing it and trying to figure out why I am the way I am today, I'm sorry I never told it to you.
Oh no, don't worry. Like I
Yeah.
kind of saw side effects of that, but
Yeah. And I'm glad you were able to live in my experience to shape the man that you are today because
oh, bro,
I see a lot of you in me, just a little more.
I learned that the most valuable thing to me is my time.
Exactly. And that's what I'm learning.
And that's what will dictate most of the decisions that I make and the people I choose to surround myself with.
Exactly. I completely agree.
The people I choose to interact with and care about and stuff like that. It's how much my time is worth. And my time is very valuable. So,
and that's something we don't get back.
and that's
the
something we
thing.
don't get back. So I'm not going to waste time on someone that's not going to, accompany me while I reach my potential, or at least witness me reach my potential, or be there at the finish line when I reach my potential.
Exactly.
Whether you're further than me in the goals in your life, or whether we have different goals.
We have different goals, but I want
You
all of
know.
us to get there together.
Yeah, but I want to see
Yeah.
everyone that I know and
Succeed.
that I care about
Because
succeed.
I remember that you said that even if you're successful, you don't feel like you are until everybody else that you care about is successful.
Everyone that I care is
Yeah, and I
successful.
completely agree. I like that philosophy, and I kept it too.
Yeah.
I kept it. So if anybody ever asks me, I always say, even if I'm successful in what I do, if I'm trying to get you to a point in your life where you're not successful, then I am
Right.
not successful.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, oh, you need to be an asset to me. No, because you're not an asset.
you're not property.
You're a human being.
Exactly.
That I find very like
Near and dear
near and dear.
Yeah.
And I want to invest my time
in you.
and our relationship as friends, or more than that, and and I can see me investing my time in what we have
Exactly.
will benefit us, and we can
Oh
help
man,
other
this
people
is
as well.
like I said, this is exciting.
Oh, dude, I'm